Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 38 of Body, the Cloud9 Fancast. Today we'll be discussing a cavalcade of C9 esports, and then going straight into our preview of the 2017 Summer LCS season. I'm your host, HavocPuss, and today I'm joined by...
Frozen Creek. I want to give a shout out to Russ at the bus for being so active with us on Twitter.
Oh yeah, he always favorites stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I like that guy.
I'm Pie Magic Man. I don't really like anyone. Sorry, Russ.
AKA Tony Montana.
Hi, Magic Man. He's a grumpus. So, gentlemen, we actually have a lot of esports news to go over, and I want us to be able to talk about the summer season for as long as possible, I guess. So I'm gonna kind of try to go through it all the best I can, and then we can kind of spend 5 minutes or so talking about it, instead of it being this whole 20-minute thing. So let's kind of do it. Ally was at the 2GGC Greninja Saga Smash 4 tournament. He placed second in doubles, but then seventh in singles. So, kind of sad. For CSGO, Shroud on his stream stated that he plans to retire from competitive play in 2018. Will he go through with it? Maybe, but we'll try to stick on this story. They also played in ESC. They went 1-1 against SK Gaming and Team Liquid. Moving on to Overwatch, Cloud9 dropped Selly to pick up star tank player Kaiser, who's best known for playing Reinhardt. This allows Surefour to return to his rightful spot at DPS, and maybe we can get better allocations of champions or something. I don't know. They played at the Rivalcade Rumble, and they ultimately finished second, which is actually fairly decent considering they only had 5 days to practice with a new team member. So all in all, I think that was really good. And probably the biggest win Cloud9 got recently, their Vainglory team, which if you don't watch, you should. They're criminally underrated. They participated in the VG8 Spring 2017 Unified Championship. They faced like top teams from NA in Europe. They got to skip past the first round because they had that bye. Cloud9 faced against a bunch of people. They faced against TSM in the semifinals, and they
Who
beat
is like
them.
the yeah, TSM's kind of like a Korean team at an international competition.
Yes, they're very, very good. So the fact that we got to beat them 3-1 is really great. I think it also kind of avenged our honor for losing to TSM in the finals in League of Legends. And then they went to face Gangstars in the finals and beat them pretty handily in a 3-0. They never had a chance. So they got a pretty good payday and a super big trophy to kind of show that they were the best at Vainglory. So what do you guys think of all this news? I kind of breezed through it quickly, but there's a
One,
lot.
one more quick thing. Cloud9 has been playing in the ESL Finals Pro League in CSGO the past 2 days. We're recording this on Wednesday, so Tuesday and Wednesday. They went 1-4 in group stages, and actually the leader of their group, G2, actually had a negative score throughout the whole group stages.
How do you get
But
a
yeah,
negative score?
yeah, they won 62 rounds and lost 63 rounds.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just saw that. But I'm super excited about Overwatch. There's a tournament this weekend coming up, so make sure to watch out for that. I can drop a link somewhere when I get the chance, if I remember to, because I have the schedule for that. But I didn't see anything. But from what I saw from a couple highlights, it seemed that Reinhardt play was pretty decent apart from a one time he charged off the edge.
Yeah, I think in terms of like team play, it's a bit better because I think Gods was also known as kind of a DPS player. So him and Surefour get to kind of be on their main roles and everyone can kind of more play around them in roles that they're more comfortable with. So they looked a lot better, and I think that we can only improve with time because Kaiser looked really good on Reinhardt.
I believe Gods was like the Roadhog, and he probably still is, but I think his
Oh yeah, he played some Roadhog.
his Roadhog is what put him on the map, really.
Yeah, he looked really good on Roadhog, which was fun to see.
Actually, Cloud9's first Overwatch game for the Takeover tournament this weekend is Friday, June 2nd at 2:15 p.m. against Misfits, and then they play at 9:45 against Hammer Esports.
Mark your calendars.
But do you know what else happens June 2nd?
What?
That is the first day of Smash and Splash featuring the GOAT Mango. So get ready for Water Parks and Melee.
Mango.
Is Mango gonna take off his shirt?
You know, we can only hope. That beautiful, like, dad bod beer gut combination that just screams America. That's what I want to see.
A beautiful man. And his fidget spinner t-shirt.
Fidget 9.
But do you know what else starts Friday, June 2nd?
I don't know, Frozen. What?
North American LCS, which means Cloud9 is kicking off, not against TSM like normal, but against CLG. But we're going to push that talk for later, and we're just going to talk about LCS Summer and NA in 2017 for now. Wait. What did you buy tickets for?
Oh yeah,
Magic Man?
if anyone is a true Body the Fancast fan, I'll be at the Cloud9 vs CLG game, so you get to meet your favorite person who comes on once a month.
You'll get to meet Magic Man himself. You can get his autograph and shake his hand.
He's
even
also
take a lock of his
permitted
hair.
to sign autographs for me if he wants. So if you find him, ask him for my autograph too.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to do like a special report or something about the whole thing, because that sounds really
Because
exciting.
it's super hype. I'm gonna be at a soccer game.
Soccer.
I know, but yeah. So, roster updates. Do you want to run us down those?
Yeah, sure. So Immortals and CLG kind of kicked things off during the lull. They pretty much swapped junglers. So Dardoch, with his bad boy ways, left Immortals and went to CLG, while CLG said, "See you later, Xmithy," and he's now playing for Immortals. This kind of creates a really interesting power dynamic, and we'll have to see how they do. Golden Glue returns from his Korean hyperbolic time chamber, and Piglet returns to ADC. Can they do better, or will they once again be in relegation? Wild Turtle, now forever benched, as Double Lift rejoins the TSM squad, left TSM and is now playing in an ADC position for FlyQuest. Envy boots Ninja for Pyrian and Niski. Dig signs on Big, and Xpecial is kind of moved to like a sub. And Echofox signs Mash, Fang, and Nero to field a more dynamic roster.
Wait, but
All right,
wasn't MASH also signed to a Japanese team? That was Maple Street that was signed to a Japanese team.
Yeah, Maple Street. He's coaching a Japanese team.
All right, let's start with Immortals and CLG. What do you guys think about this swap?
I think it could potentially be good. I think both junglers have qualities that the other teams were really lacking in. You know, CLG needs Dardoch because with Xmithy they were lacking any real kind of explosiveness, and with Immortals they needed someone with a more level head and more, consistent play. So I think that sort of the junglers trading places, I think it could really benefit the team. My only worry is that CLG will inevitably face Dardoch at his worst, and he will just rip through anyone that doesn't perform well.
Yeah, I imagine for this first little honeymoon period, it could definitely, if it works out, then it'll be a great move for CLG, as long as Dardoch is on the same page with Afra, listens to them. His explosive play can get them into a nice little bit in the early game, and then that shot calling can take over, and CLG can do their thing from there. Xmithia and IMT's kind of interesting. It feels like they want to use Flame a bit more to have Xmithy kind of support him more, would be my hope, or support Pobelter more rather than Dardoch, than have a carry jungler. It feels like I hope they want to use him to put ahead one of those two, but I really hope it's Flame of any of them, because I'd like to see him pop off.
I'm excited to see how this switch goes, because I think CLG was kind of needing a kick in the ass so they can make it to Worlds through the summer, and I think that the quickest fix to do that was getting Dardoch. I don't think there was any change anywhere else that they could have made to jumpstart their way to going to Worlds at the end of the split. So I think that's CLG had to do something, and I think that this is by far their best chance of getting to where they want to be. And I think that Xmithy is a good thing for Immortals. We saw Cody-san stepping up a ton at the end of the split, and I think that he has a lot of potential going into this next split, and I don't think that Dardoch would have been good for the team environment of a couple growing players. So I think that Xmithy is going to be a good choice for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think one kind of last thing to say about Dardoch is, like, if it doesn't work out with CLG, and this is like the third team that's kind of gotten rid of him because of quote unquote internal issues, I'm really kind of questioning where his career can kind of go from here. Because do you really want a guy that is, has this big reputation of, yeah, he doesn't really play well with people. If he's having a bad time, he's gonna make everyone have a bad time. So I'm really gonna be keeping an eye on him and seeing how the CLG roster kind of goes.
Yes. So what do you guys think about? Obviously, we knew that Double Lift was coming back to TSM, but we didn't know that Wild Turtle was gonna take over for Alltech at FlyQuest. What are your first impressions on that?
I like it, actually. First of all, there's the synergy, because now Meteos is the only thing missing, and you have OG Quantic right there. Alltech was like, he's kind of there, but I feel like Turtle is more on page with like High, Moon, Lemon, and that he's more willing to be aggressive, and I feel like that'll work out really well for them.
Yeah, I like this move as well, just because I think if Turtle stayed on TSM, there was practically no way he would see playtime. Double Lift does everything that Wild Turtle can do, but just better. Plus, he's kind of more of a shot caller that can kind of alleviate Bjergsen's incredible stress that he suffered throughout the spring season and at MSI. So, at least with this, he has more opportunities to actually play, and maybe even kind of redeem himself after his kind of poor MSI performance. But even then he didn't really play that bad. It was mostly Svenskaren's fault that TSM wasn't doing as well. But yeah, I think that this will be a good move. Maybe it'll also give Alltech a bit to try and step up.
I personally think that Alltech was a better starting ADC for FlyQuest. I think that Alltech did more with what he was given than Wild Turtle could. So I'm not sure that this is the switch that they need to make moving into the future, because I think that there are a lot more concerns with this roster's longevity, and I don't think that addressing ADC was the best choice. But I think if they want to make it to Worlds, that this might be a good enough short-term solution, but I still don't think taking out Alltech was the best choice either.
I mean, FlyQuest wins, it would be the High and Moon show, basically. I can't quite recall one game where Altec really carried. Maybe the first Mordekaiser game, since that was such a surprise, but it's most of FlyQuest wins have been off the backs of High and Moon just going super aggressive, and then them being able to close it out early. With Wild Turtle in bot lane, I think that can kind of help them push their super aggressive nature a little bit better.
We're looking at the stats a little bit from last split. Altec had more DPM and damage percentage than Wild Turtle did, but granted he was on a little worse roster, so he was expected to do more. But I don't know if he performed poorly enough to take over or to lose his spot, even though I guess it was open, or Wild Turtle was open, which I guess someone would have probably pounced on that anyway, and FlyQuest is probably the best fit. But I don't think that Altec performed poorly enough to get switched out, and I think that he was one of the better ADCs last split. Yeah, I think Altec should go to Echo Fox, and if he did, I could see Echo Fox actually finally being competent. But they still have Keith. So, we're not going to talk about too much of the other changes just because time is of the essence, because it's, like 10:30 at night Eastern Standard Time. So, of all those moves, what's the best and worst move so far?
I think the IMT CLG one was probably the best. I think it was smart on both teams' part. As far as worst, I don't know. I think I'm kind of tied between Envy and Dig. You know, X Special was doing pretty well. I'm not sure why they really needed to bring on another guy. And as far as Envy goes, I'm not sure if Kyrian and Niski is really the ones that, you know, you can kind of replace Ninja with to kind of boost your team up. They all seem to kind of be on the same level. But
yeah, but
we'll have to see.
Ninja's just bad. I'm not surprised that they're trying something.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, Ninja was like dragging the team down for a while.
All right. Pi Magic Man, what's your opinion?
For the best move, honestly, I think the Wild Turtle move is probably the best one. FlyQuest Wild Turtle, just because IMT CLG, I'm still not quite sure if Dardoch or Xmethy is what either of the teams needs. Worst move, I'm between. It's Dig or Envy, just because like X Special used to be this juggernaut. Like, he was the robot designed to kill CLG. He was like one of the top supports in NA. And when Big was on Echo Fox, like, I didn't really think he was amazing. I didn't think he was terrible. I just didn't think he was amazing. So that one's also a little nostalgic for me, but I don't see Big as being a huge upgrade. And then also, they swap out a mediocre mid laner for a NA mediocre mid laner and a European mediocre mid laner. I don't really understand what they're trying to do here.
All right, I think that the Dardoch switch, it was the best fix. I think that in the short term, Dardoch is gonna propel this team to Worlds, or if someone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Dardoch. I think that CLG needs to make some changes in the off season, but to get them back to Worlds, which I'm assuming is where they want to be, I think Dardoch is their best opportunity to do that. So I think that would be my favorite switch. My least favorite switch is Golden Glue staying in mid lane. I mean, even if he gets a little bit better from his time in Korea, he hasn't really proven at all that he can be competent. And it got to a point where Peglet went and played mid and actually played decently. I can't say if he was better or worse than Golden Glue, but I don't think that they missed Golden Glue. And I don't think that that was any kind of move that would have made Team Liquid better at all. So they're my team for being maybe not the worst one to split because Envy's still there, but I think of all the teams that made a switch, I think that Team Liquid is going to be the worst off for their switch.
All right. Well, we'll have to tune in this season to find out. I think moving on to probably the next big thing is the mid-season tank update that will probably be played. Because they're on like 7.10, right? I believe.
Yeah, 7.10 because 7.11 will ship next week.
Yeah. And yeah, Korea played on 7.10.
7.11. Oh, I thought it would have came out tomorrow because that they dropped the patch notes today. Oh,
That's true.
You mean on stage?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's 2 weeks. I don't know.
I don't know. I never know. But yeah, there's some pretty interesting changes. Zach, Maokai, and Sejuani got some pretty interesting kit changes. I think Sejuani is the one that stands out the most, at least to me. We got some new tank items like Gargoyle's Stone Plate and Adaptive Helm, as well as some reworks to some items like GA, Banshees, and Abyssal Scepter. The Rift Herald is now bigger and badder, kind of functioning like the Kraken from Vainglory. We have Xayah and Rakan, the dynamic bird-person duo. So, what do you guys think are going to be the big things to look out for coming onto this new patch?
I'm interested to see if teams are going to be able to play around a Caston comp, or if he's just going to be used as a pocket pick against split push mages like LeBlanc and maybe Echo. I think that Caston's buffs recently have made her a bit overtuned when she was like already borderline meta. So I think that we're going to see some Caston. I'm not sure if Jensen's going to pick it up, but I think we're definitely going to be seeing it. I'm also not too high on the tank updates. I think Zach, of all of them, is going to be the one that we see in competitive most, just because he's been banned every game in Korea so far, and I trust that they know what they're doing.
I was going to agree on the Zach point. He's been nerfed. He even got a hotfix nerf, and they're nerfing him again. So he's definitely a problem. They slightly overtuned him. Maokai, I think, will be fun to watch, just with how he's now able to be top support or jungle, so there's a little bit of diversity with the flex pick on Maokai. And to be honest, I haven't really seen much Sejuani, so I can't particularly judge her as well, but Zach is definitely the big one to watch out for. As far as Xayah or Khan, I feel like Xayah has a higher chance to be either picked or banned. I've seen there's been a lot of the ADC streaming her. She seems to get picked a lot, even if picked or banned, even if Rakan isn't. But it will also add an interesting part to the pick ban, just because of how much of a nice little power spike they get just for being picked together. So if you pick Xayah or Rakan in the first rotation, is it worth it to split up that duo? Is it that much more of a power spike, or is it worth it to try and ban out whatever's left? That's going to be really interesting to see.
At least from my understanding, from watching Sneaky's stream, he said that Xayah Rakan is really great because they have a really explosive level 1. Because with Xayah, at least you go W first, and then you can... Because her W gives Rakan, I think, a little bit of a buff or something if they're together. So you start with that, and you have this really explosive early level, so you can really chunk out the enemy bot lane. So that should be pretty interesting. As an AD carry main myself, I've been watching Sneaky, and I think to a lesser extent Double have played Xayah, and I'm really not sure what to think of her. I think she's kind of this weird mix of like playmaking, but not playmaking. Like I really don't know where to place her on like an ADC tier list of like being super good or just being kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how she's gonna see play yet. I don't think her laning phase is overbearing, so she might get some play. I bet Sneaky's and Smoothie are gonna try and pop him out against CLG though, but I don't think a Rockin is gonna get picked unless a Zaya is picked. I just don't think that they're super strong yet, and I think that there are better picks like Caitlyn and Lucian and Ashe right now.
Yeah.
What I'm super excited to see is how a Rift Herald changes games.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be really interesting to watch because it'll make jumblers it'll make junglers prioritize the top side of the map more. Because before then, everyone was just kind of hanging around the bottom side waiting for a good dragon to spawn. But now with Rift Herald, you're kind of having to pay attention to another half of the map. And you sometimes have to be willing to make that trade of Rift Herald for a dragon or dragon and a tower or something. So it'll be really interesting to see the decision-making process.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
feel like
with
it's
the Rift Herald, I'm pretty sure you're like almost like you put it smartly and you pretty much get a tower just for getting the buff.
Yeah, it's basically a free tower.
Yeah, so
yeah. I also feel like it's kind of an indirect a nerf to Shen because top lane is able to roam to that objective also. But I also don't think it's going to be an objective that teams are going to group up around quite like an Infernal Dragon either. But I do think that it's going to be a lot more priority than the old Rift Herald. But I'm excited to see how it evolves in the next couple weeks. Because I don't think the potential around it has quite been discovered yet.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. Do you guys have any last thoughts on the patch? I think Rift Herald and like Zaya is probably the only thing that really stands out. Probably.
Yeah, that and Zach. So.
I was gonna say the Guardian Angel change is also probably the big one, just because like.
Oh yeah.
Now like people that want Guardian Angel, except for oh man, I also want damage. Oh look it, now you get Guardian Angel and damage. Wow. So, like Fiora, it's gonna be a good item for like
Kled.
ADCs in general. It's just it's in a good place right now.
Yeah,
And
I'm happy
Kled.
that they moved it over to kind of like a more bruiserish item because as a tank item it was really annoying because if like the team that has like one or two tanks gets it, they're pretty much unkillable and it was really annoying to deal with. So now it's kind of like, oh, now like as an ADC, like, hey, I'll get this third item because I'm dying a lot or something. But anyway, let's move on to our first match preview, which is Cloud9 versus CLG this Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with CLG bringing over Dardoch, it adds a lot more explosiveness to the early game, like we said. How do you guys think Cloud9's going to deal with this added explosiveness? Because before with CLG, Xmithy was kind of more a how would you best describe it? I guess like a more like calm, controlled style of jungling. While Dardoch is looking to really kind of try to snowball the game. So, how do you think our team is prepared to deal with this change?
I think it's a little too early to count on Dardoch to bring 100% explosiveness, and I think that we should be prepared enough to deal with this game turning into a clown fiesta, and I think that we should have control over it.
I think the most important thing is going to be some early game warding because I'm expecting some pretty heavy early aggression from Dardoch. Probably going to be mid or top focus since I know Huhi is also one of those super aggressive mid laners, and he'll gladly give up CS just to get some damage on. And then Darshan seems like he always wants to try and outplay the other person, even if he's behind. So both of them looks like prime targets, especially with Impact's bad habit sometime of overextending. So I'd be watching out for that in particular.
Yeah, I can definitely expect us to do a Aurelion Soul respect ban, just to make sure who he doesn't get like the one champion he can just completely wreck people on. Outside of that, I'm also kind of interested to see how we handled the new patch and kind of our mental space going into this, because we've lost at finals like second time in a row, and this time was really close. So I think we could actually probably be in a good place, considering we've come so close, and we're, I think, hungrier than ever to like prove that we can win a championship. So I think this team this season is going to try really, really hard.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that if they want to set the tone for the split, that they have to come out and win this matchup pretty much pretty easily. But I think we all know that Cloud9 sometimes has a way against CLG of fucking that up. But I think that's beside the point. I think... Oh. I forgot what I was gonna say.
How do you have anything?
I guess my last thought would be I'm kind of excited to see how Contracts does. I'm expecting Lee Sin to be a super high priority in this game in particular, especially with Dardoch. But since like I said, Zach said Shwani, some of these tank junglers coming back with that tank update, I can't really recall seeing him on too much other than like Graves, Ka, Lee Sin, Rengar, like stuff like that. So I want to see how he adapts to maybe doing more of a tank style jungling.
Yeah, I've kind of been interested in that as well, because he's kind of been playing more carry-oriented champions. Though people have said that the jungle meta hasn't really changed that much, and it seems that things like Graves and Kha'Zix and Lee Sin are still fairly good picks to take. So I think it's more of just what the team wants to pick and how we play around the lanes.
Alright, I thought of my point. Okay, so I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with Ray in Impact, and if they're gonna play Ray on a red side every time, or if Impact is gonna see the bulk of the time, or vice versa. Because I know that Impact was kind of like coming back from Korea, if I remember right. But I'm not sure if they're gonna keep doing what they did in the finals, which is something I would like to see, because it means that other teams have to prepare something for each side of the map. And I think that there's enough strong champions like Kled, Fiora, J4, and then on the flip side, tanks like Maokai, Sejuani, even top lane, and Gragas in Nautilus that either of them can play.
Yeah, I think I'd actually kind of like to see Ray maybe dip into the tank area, just because his champion pool seems kind of sparse when you list it like that. He's really on these mechanically intensive kind of carry champions, when I think eventually teams will kind of figure out what he's going to be trying to play. And I think maybe we need to kind of expand his pool a little bit.
Or well, there's also like 80 Kennen. He's taken Renekton. I think if he's playing these bruiser carry champs, it's going to be hard to ban him out. But I would like to see him every so often play a tank, just because it's good practice for when Impact leaves.
Can't forget the prevalence of Gragas at MSI and how that could be a good little pick. Gragas and Galio.
He's still strong, yeah. Oh yeah, and Galio.
Oh yeah.
Galio's been super strong. I haven't watched much of Ray's stream.
He played it, I think the last time he was streaming, he played it, and he looked all right on it. I mean, he plays things like fairly aggressively, so I think he can really use that to his advantage, going like the Fellowship build and getting some early AP and just trying to punish his lane opponent. But I think we'll have to see.
Yeah, but we're not here just to talk about Cloud9 Stomp versus this CLG. We have a matchup against TSM coming up also, and that's Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm excited, you guys.
Yeah. So TSM is coming off kind of a flop at MSI. I don't want to say that they underperformed, but they just missed out on the final gap to make the playoff stages. But they do have a shortened break. And they haven't had quite as much time to prepare just because MSI ended 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I know
and then Double Lift had to start practicing with them again.
Yeah, that also. And SKT fell flat against Samsung today. They lost 0-2, which a lot of people were saying was because of the MSI hangover. So we might see that with TSM, and it might be something kind of like last split, the first match when we beat TSM 2-0. So I'm hoping so.
Yeah, same here. I'm hoping that we have a pretty good grasp on the meta, and we have a better understanding of it than they do, especially after their time with being an MSI. I think this is the match where I think Cloud9 is really looking to kind of prove themselves, because they want revenge. They want to show TSM that, like, hey, we can beat you in a best of series. You can't be the top dog forever, and we're coming for you. So I think we can win, and it's going to be a really tough match, but I think we can do it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they play the top lane matchup here. I think Impact and Ray can play against Haunter, but if Svenskeren can get an early gank down, I think Haunter's shown that he can snowball a lane. So I think that a lot of it's gonna come down to the jungle focus here. Yeah, and I think Jensen's gonna be super hungry. Yeah, and MSI Bjergsen. But I think that Jensen's gonna come out with a point to prove. What is it gonna be too much? I think we've all seen Jensen try a little too hard sometimes, like when he died in lane to Piglet and Huhi. So I'm interested to see how their minds are going to be coming up against a strong GSM team that's going to have an extra day of rest on them, since it's Cloud9's second matchup of the week.
Yeah, the Jensen Bjergsen matchup is always really interesting. Like you said, Jensen kind of goes hard sometimes, and he plays with his heart and not his head, which I think is actually kind of admirable. He's really looking to prove himself and just really crush his opponent. He's more lane focused, which is fine. It's a very different style. I'm hoping that the off time has given Jensen a chance to grow. He's been playing jungle a lot in solo queue, and I think he's doing that to kind of better understand like what a jungler is looking for and like how a jungle player operates. And I think this will help him kind of get a better understanding of maybe how to play his lane and maybe look for more opportunities to do stuff. So I'm really excited. I think anytime Cloud9 plays like TSM or CLG, the games are always, I think, like at a notch above any other kind of NA game. So I'm just hoping for a really good series, to be honest.
Do you have anything to add, Pie Magic Man?
I don't really know what else to add. I mean, it's we're at the two juggernauts, the two of the three of the powerhouses of NA here, and it's always an exciting match. You know, they're coming off, they have to adapt to the patch, so uh, it's either going to be really close because TSM's a good team, or Cloud9 should be able to blow them away because they should be more adjusted to the patch. That's really the only two options.
Yeah, I agree. Any final points before we kind of wrap up here?
No, let's go on to our predictions for the weekend.
All right, sounds good. Who wants to start?
I'll start, I guess. I think we are gonna 2-0 both matchups this weekend. I think that we are in an opportune position compared to both these teams, who one just switched out their jungler and one is coming back from MSI off a short break, and they switched out an ADC. Granted, it was an ADC that they've had before, but I think that this is our weekend to shine because we came out fighting the first week last split also.
I think we can probably 2-0 CLG. They're still having to try to gel with Dardoch. They were boot camping in Korea, so maybe they kind of accelerated that. We won't really know for sure until we see them play. TSM, I think it's going to be probably or hopefully 2-1, though I can't really say who. I hope it's Cloud9, but there's a little part of me that is a bit doubtful.
I think we could probably it's probably gonna be 2-1 with CLG, just because, like you said, they have time to get used to the patch. I think it's gonna be 2-0 over TSM, taking into account like what Samsung just did to SKT, and also with Doublelift coming in. Doublelift has said it himself. Don't expect him to just magically make all of TSM's problems disappear. He played a little bit on Liquid, but it's not like he's in his peak competitive shape. You got to give him a little bit of time to get back and ready. I don't think it'll be indicative of TSM split. I feel like they'll probably do what they did during spring, but I think Cloud9 will probably get them on this matchup on Saturday.
Okay. Also, I think to spice things up a bit, since we are doing a kind of a summer preview, I'd like you guys to kind of give your power rankings for this split. So, Frozen, let's start with you. How's your summer looking?
Actually, we're gonna start with Trey because he's not here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make him look like a fool. Trey has TSM, Cloud9, FlyQuest, Immortals, Phoenix One, CLG, Dignitas, Team Envy, Team Liquid, and then Echo Fox. So Trey's boy is Golden Glue, and he's sleeping on Golden Glue. And as you can see, there's kind of a fight going on between Tony Montana and Trey in the Google Docs. So Golden Glue is not enough, he said. So for me, I have Cloud9, TSM, Dignitas, Phoenix One, CLG, FlyQuest, Echo Fox, Immortals, Liquid, and Team Envy. I'm always going to be high on Echo Fox, and I really wanted to put them higher, but I think that a couple of these teams are just going to be a bit too strong, including FlyQuest and CLG. And I think that Dig was on an upward trend last split, so I think that they're going to be my third place team.
Sounds like some bold predictions. All right.
Me? You?
Well, I was gonna go next. Since
all right, you go.
We're kind of going down the line here. For me, I have TSM, C9, Phoenix One, Immortals, CLG, Dignitas, FlyQuest, Team Liquid, Echo Fox, and Envy. I think Team Liquid will at least get out of the relegation zone, and I think with Xmithy, Immortals can actually unlock some of their hidden potential, and be a bit of a better team. But I think all around, not much of the standings have changed much, and I actually did put Cloud9 second to motivate them. I think if we rank them lower than TSM, it will give them more to strive for, and they will have that that hunger. They'll want to push themselves more to finally take them over and get that first place spot. So I'm doing it for motivational purposes.
Alright, my turn. I put Cloud9 first because that's where they are in my heart. And then it's TSM.
Cloud9.
Then we got CLG, FlyQuest, Phoenix One, Immortals, Dignitas, Team Liquid, Echo Fox, and Envy. Envy, I don't think they strengthened their roster enough, and Lyra can't 1v9 their entire way. And then Echo Fox, if the rumors that they are only scrimming their challenger team are true, I really don't think that they can improve to the level, like, they were at the near the bottom last year, and, like, do you think they're really going to be able to get better by scrimming a challenger team? Unfortunately not. And then, like I said, I think FlyQuest improved, so they're going to be up there above Phoenix One. They had a close series, and Phoenix One is staying the same, while I think FlyQuest improved a little bit, where CLG will hopefully have some craziness with that Dardoch in there.
We can have this conversation in a week or two, but I think that Echo Fox only scrimming their challenger team is actually better. But I'll just give a quick TLDR. I think that it gives them a chance to decide what they're going to be playing against a lot better than a scrim against another team would, and I also think that it also gives them a chance to play against different scenarios that they want to plan and play for. So I hope it goes well, but we can have that conversation in a week or two, because we're going to be playing them again soon, and we can see how they're stacking up until then.
Short pros and cons for me. Pros: yes, they can try out stuff without them worrying. Yes, they can set up their own scenarios. Cons: they're missing out on a lot of the meta changes, because all the other teams will be swapping strategies while they're stuck with their challenger team. 2, the quality of the players on both teams. You're really not going to get the best practice unless you're practicing against the best people, and challenger teams have shown time and time again that they are not always up to par with the rest of LCS teams.
Alright, we'll go into that at a different time. Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
I can't think of anything. Oh, do you guys have like a moment of the week? If you want to do that real quick.
I'm just gonna say mine was Kaiser charging off the edge of the map on accident in Overwatch. I thought that was pretty awesome and hilarious.
Mine was probably the Vainglory Championship. That was really exciting to watch, and it definitely made me become a Vainglory fan.
I'll go with YouPorn's very own fatality, taking down Zero and getting second place to Naira at MomoCon. That's a great underdog story right there.
Wait, YouPorn, it's in like the site sponsored them?
Oh yeah, YouPorn is sponsoring the Smash 4 player fatality.
For those of us who are normal people, what is YouPorn?
Well, if you take YouTube and then you add porn, you got YouPorn.
Okay. I've never heard of that before.
That is that's very interesting information to know.
All right.
All right.
It's getting late, and we have a fantasy draft to do, and I have another trophy to win. So let's wrap this up.
All right, closing it out. Thank you everyone for listening to the 38th episode of Bodied, the Cloud9 Fancast. Feel free to tweet questions and feedback to us at C9Bodied, or email us at bodiedfancast@gmail.com. Questions might be answered on the next podcast, so get those questions coming. Get them coming. Also, make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts. That way, you can be up to date whenever we add a new episode, and you can listen to it easy peasy. So, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Say goodbye, people.
Goodbye, people.
Bye.
Goodbye, people.
Bye.